everybody, and welcome to another episode of the College Football Tailgate. As always, it's me. Right now, it's USFL Jim, joined by the one, the only Uncle Rico. We're going this way first, counterclockwise. What's up, Erik?
Nothing much. What's going on with you, my man?
Not a whole lot. It's been a busy week so far. It is 4th of July weekend. Everyone, light off fireworks. Don't be safe. That's not what this holiday is about. And we are joined by the one, the only Sweet Feet St. Howard. It is Chase, the Wolf of Oaklawn, Lupine Fiasco Sesams. What's up, bud?
Man, excited to talk. Probably what's in a three-way tie for my favorite G5 conference.
It's probably in. For me, it's a two-way tie. It's a two-way. It's right up there, though. It's MACtion time, baby. Today we are previewing the MAC conference. In my opinion, it's obviously not the best conference, but maybe the conference with the most parity in all of football.
It's the Conference of Champions.
It is the Conference of Champions.
Let's be honest. Everyone likes a little midweek MACtion right when we hit that November, a little tilt where we're getting antsy for Christmas, Thanksgiving. Love a little Tuesday night Bowling Green Akron. That's what I live for in my life.
I love every second of it, Erik. I love the conference. I love how crazy it gets. I love the MACtion. So what we're going to do, what we do all the time on this show, is we go alphabetical. There are divisions in the MAC. So we're going to start with the East.
We'll
start with the East. Go alphabetical. So we are starting with our Akron Zips. The win total is set at 3.5. The over is juiced down to -125. The under -105. They are plus 2,800 to win the MAC this year, boys.
They're returning 41, 8 offensive and 7 defensive starters. DJ Irons is back for his senior year. He was third team All-MAC last season. Was second in the team in rushing. He will keep them in games this season. If they get hurt, Jeff Underkeffler is there, who's okay in Moorhead's system, but he doesn't run the ball as much as Moorhead would like. It's looking like Lorenzo Linghart from Florida State is going to be their starting running back. As the top 3 from last season are gone. Clyde Price got hurt in the spring game, which is kind of a big blow to them. He was going to be their RB1. Wide receiver, this unit in my eyes is pretty sneaky good. I know they did lose Jaquez Lewis, but they are returning Alex Adams, who is first team all-conference, along with TJ Banks, who is fourth team all-conference tight end. Plus, they're returning Daniel George, who was the team's third leading wide receiver. They also have a ton of transfers coming in. This unit is deep and talented. Offensive line, this unit was a train wreck last season. They allowed the second most sacks in the country, plus only rushed for 122 yards a game. They are losing 2 starters. One of them was third-team All-MAC guard Alex Wiggin. They have 6 returning that have starters experience, and this is year 2 in a new system. Common sense, they will improve, and with how bad they were last season, that shouldn't be that hard. Defensive line, this unit was greatly improved from last season's unit, but last season's unit was greatly improved from the unit before, but I feel they'll be taking a step backwards this year as they are losing 5 players that played a significant amount of snaps and only returning 3 that have starter experience and only getting 1 transfer. Linebackers, this unit will be the strength of the defense. They're returning 4 of their top 6. Bubba R.S. Lynn was granted an extra year of eligibility because of the injury he suffered. So he's back. Plus, they're adding 2 Power 5 transfers. Group will be solid. Defensive backs, this unit will be improved as well. They're getting 5 of their top 7 back. Plus, they're adding 2 Power 5 transfers as well. Sneaky, one of the better units in the conference. Special teams, they had 2 different kickers splitting times last year. You know what they say, if you have 2 kickers, you don't have a kicker, plus they lost their punter. I kind of think this unit may struggle a little bit. Overall, I'm a firm believer in turnover regression. Last season, they were negative 13 in turnovers, but they were plus 41 yards gained in games. So basically, they're just shooting themselves in the feet. This year, they're returning 15 starters, bringing multiple Power 5 transfers that will keep them headed in the right direction. In System 2, in the system 2, in year 2 of the Moorhead system. I'm taking the Akron Zips over 3.5 wins.
I like that, Eric. I'm probably leaning that way too, just off the bat. Their schedule breaks a little tough, just off the bat. They have 3 different sections of back-to-back away games. No fun.
No fun at all.
Let's
But
get into the schedule,
okay.
boys.
I mean, let's be honest, though. Okay, you can go. Sorry.
Let's get into the schedule. They start the season at Temple and then Morgan State at home.
Okay.
I think Temple's going to be really bad.
And they could beat Morgan State. That's 2.
I got them starting 2-0 also. Like, I remember Temple having trouble covering a spread against the Lafayette Leopards last year. That puts how I feel about Temple pretty well in summary.
Yeah, I think since Matt Rule left, I think Temple's just been in a really bad place.
Yeah.
It hasn't been fun for them. So I have them also starting at 2-0. Then it's at Kentucky and at Indiana.
Oh, it's a W at Kentucky all day.
What do you think, Eric?
At Kentucky?
At Kentucky and at Indiana back-to-back.
0-2.
Worst program in the nation. That's a win at Kentucky.
I mean, that's still 0-2.
I'm also leaning towards the 0-2. I know Chase has his reasons.
Yeah, that's
It's
for
from-
one
it's from the
specific
heart.
person that I always pick Kentucky to go 0-12.
the
I mean,
heart.
just the history of Akron. They're 2-6 ATS versus SEC 0-9 straight up.
So they're due.
That's what you're telling me. They're due, Eric.
Telling me they're due.
You know what? Everyone can look at stuff other ways.
Buffalo and NIU to start conference play both. I think this is a good way that you can like dip your toe into the conference.
Yeah.
I give them the dub at Buffalo, but they lose to Bruce at home against Northern Illinois.
So here's the thing. We'll kind of get into these teams a little bit. Northern Illinois, I think, is going to be kind of sneaky good this year. They're returning a lot. I think that's going to be a tough game. Buffalo, they are returning their quarterback. I think that's going to be a tough game. I think they should be able to win one of these 2 between Buffalo and Northern Illinois.
I'm also kind of having them go 1-1. I lean towards Buffalo because, like Eric said, NIU. For me, NIU, it's always 1 year on, 1 year off. Last year was their off year. The year before that, they were fantastic. This year, I'm expecting them to like bounce back and have another pretty good year. I'm gonna have them go 1-1 here. So I have the Akron Zips with 3 wins right now, and then it's at Central Michigan and at Bowling Green back to back.
That's 1-1 for me.
It's tough. That's tough.
I think they can go 1-1 again. Bowling Green, another sneaky good team. CMU, we really don't know what's going on at the quarterback position.
I'm also going to have them go 1-1 in this spot. I don't know if I fully believe in Bowling Green this year. I think last year might have been a little bit of an anomaly, in my opinion. Off the bye
They
week,
got rated too.
yes. Off the bye week, they get Kent State at home. Dub.
Okay, I have a fact about Kent State that we'll get to later. That's gonna leave you guys dumbfounded.
Probably. I think Kent State might be the worst team in the MAC this year.
That's a win. So I have them at 4.
Same. At Miami, at Eastern, back to back.
That's tough, dude. Like
That
they
is
could
tough.
go on 2. They could go on 2 right there.
I'm 0-2 there for those 2 games.
And the
I'm
thing
going to be
with
tentative.
Miami,
I'm going to be conservative. I'm going to say 0-2.
the thing with Miami is Gabbert, their quarterback. If he goes down, I think that team's going to struggle a little bit. They're the team with me that has the difference when you look at floor and ceiling. There's the biggest gap. There's the biggest gap with Miami. So if they were going to get one, I think it would be the game at Miami.
I agree with that. And they finished the season with Ohio at home.
Kind of depends what's going on in the conference. We saw it last year. Last year, the season for Toledo sat everybody. They got upset by Akron. So it could be another situation. Wouldn't surprise me if Ohio does the same thing. I think they win 5 games.
I'm going to give them a win here. I'm actually going to, you know what? I'm going to give them 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I have them at 6, maybe 7 wins. I'm having Akron go bowling.
I've got them at 6, including that Kentucky win, that huge Kentucky win that you can go ahead and just mark down. But it's also for over 3.5. That's so juiced up at -125. It's not one that I likely touch, but I like them to go over.
I got that bad boy at -105, my man.
There you go.
There you go, Uncle Rico.
That's a play at -105.
It's I mean, I'm still gonna take it at -125. I might take like a different juiced one if I can find like a over under of 4. I might take that. Might move that number a little bit. I'd be happy to do it. Up next, Bowling Green. Oh boy, their win total set at 5. The under's juiced all the way to -145. The over at +115. They are +4,500 to win the MAC this year, boys.
Returning 54, 8 offensive and 5 defensive starters. Connor Blazelack is transferring from Missouri, 29 career starts. He's thrown over 7,000 yards in his career. He will be better than McDowell was for them last season. Running back room took a big blow last season as Teron Stewart elected to sit out the season to focus on his health and academics. He is back this season and will provide the playmaker that the Falcons desperately needed in the backfield, as they didn't have a running back go over 56 yards rushing for the back half of their season. Wide receiver room, obviously my big worry is here. They lost Tyrone Broden, who was their most talented playmaker, their deep threat, but Austin Alburn is returning from injury, who missed most of last season. Also, they are adding Jalen Tillman from Grand Valley State University. My 2 cents is if Osborne can develop into that alpha dog, I think this unit's going to be in good shape, but that's a big if. Last year, the offensive line for the Falcons, they were bad. They gave up 37 sacks and only had 100 yards rushing per game. This season, they bring in transfers from Iowa State, Tulsa, and Arizona State. They have 75 career starts. Should be the best O-line that Bowling Green has had in a couple years. Defensive line, they're only returning 1 starter, but adding transfers from UTSA, Arizona, and Maryland. With Hawkins, the transfers, and Brown coming back, this unit should be a little bit better than last year's unit. Linebacker, I had high hopes for this group last year. I was on their win total over. Somehow it got to it. They were disappointed. They lost their 2 top guys. They added Mayo from Memphis. Should be better than last year's unit, but with how bad they were, that's really not saying that much. DB, to say this, another group that was a train wreck last season. Their best player, who in my eyes will probably play in the league, Devon Ferguson, went down with an injury. Losing him was a huge blow. He's back with him and the young guys that were thrusted into the starting unit. I think this unit's going to be one of the greatly better than last year's, could be sneaky good, one of the better ones in the conference. They lost their field goal kicker, which will hurt because when you have a team like this, like you don't, a team that's not going to win with a lot of margin, you need someone that's reliable to kick these field goals. Overall, they hit their win total last year. That counts in my book. Tougher schedule. I think them getting to 5 or 6 wins is great for them. I would lean to the over, but there's no way I'm betting this game.
I'm not touching this one at all. Let's get into the schedule, though. It's tougher, but it's not the worst I've ever seen. At Liberty to start the season, I'm going to go with a loss.
That's an L in my book.
Eastern Illinois, and then at Michigan right after that. I got 1 and 2.
1 and 2 technically.
Yep, 1 and 2.
The Ohio Bobcats at home afterwards.
Homecoming.
Give them the L.
Homecoming game. Early homecoming.
I'm going to say that's an L.
I'm also going to say that's an L.
Now, this is a brutal 4-game schedule.
Yeah.
At Georgia Tech, at Miami of Ohio, at Buffalo, and then Akron at home.
And the week before that, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 road games in 5 weeks. That is brutal.
That is absolutely brutal.
I'm only giving them 1 win out of that stretch, and it's going to be, Maybe not.
I might have them
Maybe
losing
not.
all those games.
Yeah. Wait, hold on. This is okay. Never mind. That is Miami at Ohio, not Miami, Florida. So
Yeah.
yes, I did give them the win at Miami of Ohio.
I mean, no wins.
Yeah.
I still have them with 1 win on the season.
I have them with 1-2, my friend.
After the
So
bye
me
week,
too.
it's Ball State and then at Kent State. I'm gonna go 1-1 there.
Same.
Maybe 2-0, but 1-1 at most.
Yeah.
Toledo and then at Western Michigan to end the season.
I think they can beat Western.
After the bye week, I have them with 2 wins. So I'll put them at 3 wins total.
That's right where I had them 3, and it was an under. If it wasn't so juicy, this is one I don't touch.
Yeah, this is the fact that it's so juiced just makes me want to stay away. If I can get a under 3.5 at like some plus money, might take that. Might dabble with that. But for now, not touching, staying away. The Uncle Rico special.
The pass.
We move on to Buffalo. The
Returning
Buffalo Bulls. So 1 sec. 1 second, Eric. You gotta fucking wait. Win total set at 6.5. Over is plus 105. Under minus 135. 6-1 plus 600 to win the conference, boys.
That's where you could have flashed that Chrome, Uncle Rico. Do we have a problem?
See, that's where you flash it. That's where you start intimidating me. And then Erik becomes the alpha. Eric's already the alpha of the show.
True.
Returning 36, 5 offensive, 5 defensive starters. Cole Snyder, who transferred in from Rutgers last year, one of the big surprises of the MAC last season, is back. He's one of the better quarterbacks in all of the conference. Running back. This is the first time in 2 seasons last year that the Bulls aren't going to have to replace a 1,000-yard rusher. All 3 of their ones that got carries last year are back. Ron Cook will come close to that 1,000-yard season as he's entering his final year in college. I'll look to bet some of his rushing props as the season starts. Wide receiver, this is my concern in the offense. They're losing Marshall, who was a clear-cut number 1, and they also lost their 2 and number 3 wide receiver. I don't think this unit has that chain mover, the guy that can move a chains on third and 15, 3rd and 8. Maybe Snyder will be able to band-aid some of the issues this unit will have, but I really think they're going to struggle moving the ball. So if they get behind the chains, it's going to be hard for them. Offensive line, good news. This is the most experienced offensive line the Bulls have had in 3 years. They did lose 2 stars and some depth. They have JUCOs coming in. Wallace, who was their best offensive lineman last season, is back. So I think it's going to take a couple of games for this unit to gel. But once they gel, I think they're going to be headed in the right direction. Defensive line, they have 4 players returning that have started at least 7 games. They're bringing back Lang, who is their best player. This unit is going to be the strength of the defense, and the coaching staff has been hyping them since the spring game. It'd be a little weird in terms of the linebacker room, as Mr. Everything, James Patterson, is gone. How will they be able to replace him? I have no idea. I think this unit is going to take a huge step backwards. DBs, all-conference player Faku is back. They did lose 3 starters and a couple backups. They have multiple transfers coming in. Again, is this unit going to be able to gel? I don't know. Special teams, one of the better special teams unit in the MAC, is they're returning everybody. They're returning kick returner, punt returner, long snapper, both punters, both the punter and the kicker. Overall, I like to target teams entering the 3rd year of the coaching system here, and that's what they have in Buffalo. I think this is kind of like a sleeper-ish team that could make the MAC title game over Ohio, but they don't have Patterson. I think that's going to be a big blow to the defense, so I'm staying away.
I don't hate that move. The schedule works out fairly decently. They only have 1 set of back-to-back away games. Let's break it down. They start the season at Wisconsin. It's a loss. It's a big old L.
Yeah.
But then it's Fordham and Liberty, both at home.
I think double dubs here.
Yeah. What do you think, Erik?
I'm going to give them 2 W's too.
I'm also we're all triple 2 dubs. Triple 2 dubs.
It's just continuity. I mean, this is one whenever we did the Conference USA, I had this picked as a Buffalo win against Liberty, so I'm sticking with it.
Then it's at Louisiana, at the Raging Cajuns, and at Akron.
I think they're going to win one.
Let's see.
Yeah, I
think
don't
have them winning a game in that stretch. I don't have them winning a game in that stretch.
I think they can go 1-1. I kind of might like them against Louisiana a bit. And then before the bye week, it's Central Michigan at home, Bowling Green at home, and at Kent State.
I penciled him for a win against Bowling Green.
I'm going to go 2-1 in that stretch.
Yep, me too.
Off the bye week, it's at Toledo, but it's off the bye.
That's a loss. Toledo's off the bye too.
That's tough. Yeah, I'm going to give them a loss there.
Got him a losing.
Ohio at Miami, and then Eastern Michigan at home to end the season.
If there was one game that I gave a team a W because the MAC be crazy, it's the Ohio game. I gave them the win against Ohio. I'm not sure if they necessarily stack up, but I do know the MAC be crazy. And if they don't get this one, they're going to get a win somewhere else on that same angle. So it's like a win against Ohio, but officially it's just a win against another MAC team because it'd be crazy.
I'm trying to decide whether I got them going 2-1 or 1-2 in this stretch. And I want to lean towards 1-2.
I think they're going to lose to Toledo.
But do you think they can win 1 or 2 between Ohio, Miami, and Eastern?
Ohio, that's the game. If they're going to win, it's going to be at home. I'll give them the Ohio game. I'll give them 2.
You know what? I'm going to give them 2 wins in this stretch. So I have them at 2. I'm at 7 wins.
I've got them at 5. I thought it was an under, and then it was a not a don't touch. I do have them with the surprise win at Eastern Michigan in the finale, especially because that might mean a lot to Eastern Michigan. And I think even if Buffalo's had a bad season, that's a great spot for them to play spoiler.
And if there's anything teams in the MAC love, it's playing spoiler to the other MAC teams.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
100%.
Sure. I have them at 6-7 wins.
I guess I lean towards the over, but I don't want to touch it at 6.5. It's too close to for me to be comfortable. You know what? Screw it. Give me over. Give me the over. I'm a daredevil. I'm gonna sweat that out. I'm gonna sweat it out. Give me the Buffalo over 6.5 wins.
Woo!
Plus 105. Give it to me. Up next, Kent State, the Golden Flashes. Win total right now set at 2.5. The over is juiced to minus 130. The under is plus 100. Gentlemen, they are 101 plus 10,000 to win the MAC.
Returning 32. 0 offensive starters and 4 defensive starters.
Oh,
Colin Sheely is gone as he entered the portal and transferred to UCLA. It's looking like Purdue transfer Michael Amaroli will be the starting quarterback. Cooper is gone. He hit the portal. Plus backup Bradford is gone as well. It looks like Xavier Williams and Minnesota transfer Kai Thomas will be splitting carries. Wide receivers really lacking in playmaking at the wide receiver position as they are losing their top 3. Lots of questions around this inexperienced group and who will be the alpha and step up and be the clear chain mover. I'm not going to beat around the bush with this offensive line. How many career starts do you think this unit has, guys?
7.
4.5.
17.
4.
5. 5 career starts.
I was close.
And their most experienced.
Someone's going to showcase showdown.
Jimbo Ogibwe has 3 of those 5.
Yeesh.
This unit is going to be the worst offensive line in the nation. Defensive line, they're losing 3 of their top 4 players, but CJ West is returning, adding 4 transfers. I think this unit will struggle greatly. Linebackers, this unit will be the backbone of the defense, but what is that really saying? Because this defense is going to be awful. They lose their top 2 players, but returning CJ Harris and Khalees Sanders, this unit will be bad, but it's the only thing the defense has going for them. This unit is adding 4 transfers for a Band-Aid for losing 3 starters and several meaningful backups. Burns is calling this the best unit on defense, but I just don't see it. I don't see this unit being good at all. I think you're going to be able to throw all day on Kent State. Special teams, they have a redshirt freshman kicker who has a huge leg, per what the local newspapers are saying. Their punter is returning. I mean, those 2 are pretty much the strengths of the teams, their kicking game. Lewis leaving gutted the program. It will take Burns time to get it back to the level it once was, if he can. Plus, he wants to change the style of play, not so much flash, to more grit and grind. They have zero
bullshit. They're the Golden Flashes.
Zero experience doing this. I think it's going to be a long year. I would lean to that under 2.5.
I would too. I think this is going to be maybe one of the worst teams in all of football. They're going to be.
So the way the schedule shapes up with their first 4 games, if they go through their first 4, 1-3, I feel like they've still got a decent chance to hit the over. And I do see 1 win in that stretch of early 4. And I think that you just pick up a couple wins on just crazy Maction.
Mac do be crazy. Mac do be crazy.
So I kind of thought that this was a sneaky over, but again, it's a juiced up -130 for 3 wins. And I don't really want to touch it.
So Chase, the Mac be crazy, which gives me potentially 1 conference win from Kent State. I don't know where you're finding the second.
I went with, well, first of all, I kind of wanted to give him the UCF win because
I know you do.
Yeah. I thought that maybe they could sneak one out against Miami. I think they could sneak one out against Bowling Green. And then, I mean, season finale, Northern Illinois could play spoiler for a MAC West team. So I gave that on a coin flip. So, I mean, I think they're sitting right at like 3-ish, 4-ish.
Shot this team wins 1 game.
That's fair.
Let's get into this schedule. Like Chase mentioned, they start the season back-to-back away games to start. It's at UCF and at Arkansas. Rough.
1-1.
That's rough.
0-2.
I got them at 0-2 as well. Then it's the CCSU Blue Devils. Some would say the real Blue Devils.
That's the glimmer of hope in that 4-game stretch.
Yeah, so I'll just go through the 4-game stretch just to reiterate. So it's at UCF, at Arkansas, CCSU, and then at Fresno State.
I mean, I think that the big thing is when looking at the schedule. To start the schedule, they have, 2 home games in the first 6 weeks.
It's brutal.
Sorry, in the first 7 weeks. My bad. 2 in the first 7.
Before the bye week, it's at UCF, at Arkansas, CCSU at home, at Fresno, Miami of Ohio at home, at Ohio, at Eastern Michigan, Buffalo at home before the bye week.
And real quick, at UCF, let's play my favorite game. Guess that spread.
UCF.
I'm going to say
24.5.
I'm going to go UCF -32.
34.5.
Chase, you're way better at that than me.
That makes it spread.
That's also disgusting.
Thank you.
No, just that spread is disgusting.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it is.
And the over-under of 58.
Jesus.
Woof.
I can't believe in this team. So I have them before the bye week. I have them winning 1 game.
I mean,
Chase, you're going to give them 2 there?
I mean, not really, but yeah.
The brain says 1, the heart says 2.
Yeah, exactly.
Where are we feeling, Uncle Rico?
1.
Yeah. Then after the bye week, at Akron, Bowling Green, at Ball State, and Northern Illinois.
Akron's coming off a bye.
Yeah, I got them winless.
I have that. I know they're a little rivalry there, but I think like this year,
maybe Ball State.
I think this year, some teams that Kent State put up some good numbers against, they're going to get some revenge this year.
I'm going to give him one win, actually. I'm going to give him Bowling Green. It's a Wednesday night. Weird shit happens.
If I'm really pressing it and I want to give him this over, then I give him the 2 home wins, Bowling Green and Northern Illinois at the end of the season. 2 home wins.
Don't hate it. Don't love it. I'm going to actually bet this under 2.5. Anybody taking a shot on Kent State at 100-1 to win the MAC?
I mean, let's be honest. Like, what's the over/under of people in attendance on that Saturday game after Thanksgiving?
What's the spread? What's the spread in the opener? Around 32. I'm going to put that line somewhere around there.
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus, dude, that is just brutal.
That's disgusting. That's so bad. Up next, it is the Miami of Ohio. Win total is set at 7. Overs juiced to -125, under -105. They are +650 to win the conference.
Returning 45, 7 offensive and 9 defensive starters. Brett Gabbert is back. Some, including me, had him as the best quarterback in the conference last season. But due to an injury, never lived up to the hype. He entered the portal but didn't leave. He's back. If he stays healthy, I expect him to have a huge season, but that's a big if. Running back room, huge disappointment last season as it returned all 4, and the coach was hyping this as a good unit, one of the better in the conference. But they only had 2 games where they had a player rush for over 73 yards. The top 3 are back, and either Kenny Tracy or Kenyon Mosey are going to be the starter. They haven't really named one yet. Wide receiver, we mentioned all the time who's going to be the chain mover. They lose Hippenhammer, who saw double coverage but was still able to move the chains and be their big play guy last season. Who's going to be there? I don't know. They did add Marshall from Indiana, but for me, he's not a clear-cut alpha wide receiver. I think he's going to struggle moving the ball because they're not going to have that clear-cut number 1. Offensive line, they're losing 2 starters who are transferring to Power 5 conferences, which is a huge blow. But they're adding Sam Vaughn, who's coming back for being out last season. And they're adding John Young from Kentucky, so this unit won't take as big as hit as some may think. But we saw it with CMU last year. CMU lost 2 guys to the league, and their offense really struggled because they lost those 2 offensive linemen. This offensive line can't generate anything after losing the 2 starters. I think this offense is going to struggle greatly. Defensive line, strength of the team, one of the better units in the conference. They have everybody returning. Linebacker room, Ryan McWood, who has been there for 7 years, is gone, and his leadership is going to be greatly missed, as well as his ability to make tackles as he was their leading tackler. Plus, Dewell is moving to safety. Wise will drop back from defensive line to play some linebacker. Group is good on paper, but losing McWood is a huge blow. DBs, they're only losing 2, but they weren't starters. So this unit will have experience, but we'll need to see them take that big jump forward this year after getting that experience last year. Special teams, they have their punter and kicker back, who are arguably the best in the conference, but they're losing both returners. So that kind of, they're not going to have that big play, but they have 2 reliable kickers, which is good. Now that's a big if, Gabbert can stay healthy, I think they can compete with Ohio and Buffalo to win the conference. But to me, that's a big if. I would lean to the over in wins, but at the time I wrote this, it was -170, so that's a pass for me.
So right now it is, it's just -125. The schedule isn't terrible for the Red Hawks. And like Erik said, I don't have him as the best quarterback last year, but I have him as like a top 2 in the league. I think he's real good. I have faith in the Red Hawks. They're kind of like always somehow a middle of the pack team, no matter what expectations are set for them. So let's get into it. They start the season. Again, Mac, please help me out here with some of these teams. At Miami, at UMass, at Cincinnati.
All right, real quick. Let's play my favorite game.
Guess the spread.
Guess that spread. The Battle of Miami's. What are we going with?
Miami of Florida minus 28.
I'd say I was going to say 29. So, yeah.
Miami of Ohio getting only 17.5.
Wow.
Ooh, a little respect for the Red Hawks.
I like seeing it. I like seeing it.
A little respect for the Red Hawks.
I like seeing it. I think they win in that first 3-game stretch. What are we thinking?
That first, either 1-3 or 1-2. Yeah. I think they probably get was it UMass?
Yeah, I think they
win.
It's not a gimme, but I think they get the UMass win.
Agreed.
Eric, are you as hot? Are you back on the UMass train?
After last season, no.
Okay, it soured you already.
Yeah,
they burned that bridge.
Marcus Camby ain't walking through that door, and if he is, he's going to be old and gray.
I'm out.
So I got him 1-2. Chase has him 1-2. Eric has him 1-2, and then it's Delaware State, so not the good Delaware at home. That's a win.
The dub there. Yep.
I have him win.
And then it's at Kent State.
Win.
Actually,
I gave him Green
the
L.
You give him an L.
Oh.
That's right.
So I'm going to hit that Kent State over. I gotta get it somewhere, don't I?
Bowling Green at home after that.
I'm going to give them a win there.
I'm going to give them a win there too. At Western Michigan.
It's an L.
I'm going to give them a win.
Oh, my bad. I said Kent State. It was Bowling Green. That was the W.
There you go. That makes a little more sense.
Yeah.
What about Western?
L.
I got a win there. Toledo at home at Ohio.
LL.
Yeah, I got him losing both those ones.
I gave him the win against Toledo.
Then after the bye week, it's Akron, Buffalo, both at home, and then at Ball State.
I am winning 2 of the 3.
I give him the Akron, and I give him Ball State.
Yeah, I'll give him 2 out of those 3 as well. So I got him 1, 2. I got him at 7 wins.
Yep, that's why I got him at 2.
So I
got him sitting at 6. The total set at 7. There's no hook. Straight up even money. This wasn't one that I was going to play, but seeing as like my plus money opinions in this conference are kind of at a premium, I think I'm pivoting. I'm going to say this is one I actually will play, and it's going to be Miami under 7 wins for the even money.
Don't hate it, Chase. Don't hate it. I don't love it either, though.
That's fair. It's the MAC. Like I really just
you got to take what you can get.
Yeah.
And the MAC, you got to take what you can get. Now we are on to the Ohio Bobcats. Win total set at 7. The over juiced down to minus 140. The under at plus 110. They are plus 260. Just plus 260 to win the whole conference. I think they are the second favorite team.
Yep. Returning 47, 9 offensive and 6 defensive. Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, if I can get plus money that they play in like the MAC championship game, that I'd definitely be interested in that. I'm not necessarily interested in them in as a conference pick. Like I do think that they can win the East of the MAC, though. Please tell us what Phil still said, Uncle Rico. Sorry to interrupt.
Curtis Roque is back. Just need to know if he's healthy.
He's my best quarterback in the league, by the way. MAC.
He was throwing in the spring, but still isn't ready from what I'm reading. If he goes without issues, this is the best quarterback in the MAC, possibly. Running back, the whole unit is coming back, including O'Shane Allison, who was out last season. They are deep and experienced. Wide receiver, returning everyone but James Bolstick. Leading wide receiver, Jacoby Jones, who was first-team All-MAC, is back and leads a group that could be the best in the conference. Offensive line is losing one starter. The big issue with this unit last year was health. If they can stay healthy, this is going to be a good unit, but that's a big if because they don't have the depth. Defensive line, they have 2 starters coming back, and the issue with them last year was the beginning of the season. It was a season they struggled, but as the season progressed, they started to gel and play better. I think this unit will be able to carry over that momentum and be a pleasant surprise this season. Linebackers, if the D-line struggles, it'll be on the linebackers to carry the load. I like this group as they are getting back Kenyon Thompson, who was third team all conference, and the team's best defender, along with Bryce Houston. And Andreas Williams is coming back. This unit could be one of the tops in the league. DBs, they had 10 INTs last season. The two best players in the secondary accounted for 6 of the INTs are gone. They're adding transfers, but this is one of the things we see it in the NFL. A team has a lot of turnovers. They regress. I don't think they're going to get as many INTs. They are the clear cut to come out of the East if Rowe can stay healthy. They have the front 7 to carry them. Obviously, I'm a little worried about the back 4. They do have San Diego State, FAU on the road, and Iowa State at home. That's a pretty tough non-conference in my eyes. With the uncertainty of Rourke, I kind of want to lean to the under, but I'm not doing anything.
So as I got very drunk on Sunday because I knew I was not taking work Monday, I had an epiphany on this team. Specifically, I had an epiphany on Curtis Rourke. He will get hurt this year, not career ending, but he will get hurt. I don't like giving you bad news, people, but he will get hurt. He will miss out on the NFL draft, go to the CFL, reclaim the throne for the Rourke family as the best Canadian. He will be a CFL legend, and then he will be in the league. But that does not help Ohio this year. I'm leaning towards the under.
I'm also leaning towards the under. I thought that they might hit that number 7 right just between the eyes, but I'd rather take the gamble at plus 110 that they come up one short of it.
You're damn right. So let's get right into it. At San Diego State to open up the season. That's a lot.
Real quick. Guess that spread.
San Diego State minus 5.5.
I'm going to go San Diego State minus 10.5.
4. But again,
that's thinking Curtis is going to play.
Yeah, this is priced as if he plays. If he doesn't, this is going to probably balloon up to 7. So I think that's something we need to kind of monitor in terms of the local papers. If it doesn't look like he's going to play that first game on the road, we need to take San Diego State.
Yes. LIU at home afterwards. Dub. That's a win.
Give him a win.
At FAU and then Iowa State at home.
Split it 1-1.
I'm gonna have him going 0-2.
Yeah,
I'm giving the win at FAU.
I don't like for Iowa State. I don't like they're going to a MAC team. That's dangerous,
right?
But Campbell's been there, done that.
Oh yeah, like I can't like the fact that I believe in them. Like I think they win, but that's going to be like a spread to monitor.
Oh yeah, for sure.
At Bowling Green going into the bye.
Give them a win there.
I think they're going to start off a win there. So I'm at 2 wins entering the bye.
I also have them at 2 wins entering the bye.
I've got them at 3.
Off of their first bye, it's Kent State and then at Northern Illinois.
I have them winning Kent State and then losing to NIU.
Same.
Western Michigan, Miami of Ohio, both at home before their next bye.
I give them Miami. I give them the dub or the L against Western Mich.
I give them 2-0 there.
I think they can go 2. I think they split.
I'm gonna give them 2-0. I'm gonna be generous here.
I think they split.
Then out for their second bye week, it's at Buffalo, Central Michigan at home, and then at Akron.
1-2. Season finale win at Akron.
I give them
1-2.
Yeah, I have them at 5 wins right now.
I also have them at 5. I'm going to be generous, give them 6. That's still under the 7 if I'm being extremely generous. I'm going to be betting the under 7 for the Ohio Bobcats.
Same here. Absolutely.
Really taking a shot on like Curtis Rourke's health. That's what we're because like if he does play, I think a lot of these losses could turn into wins. I think like they have a legit shot against Iowa State if he plays, and he's like 100%. Okie doke. Up next, it's Ball State, baby. Win total is set at 4.5.
Fighting David Letterman's.
The under is plus 130, under minus 160. They are plus 2,800 to win the MAC.
Returning 31, 7-7, 7 offensive, 7 defensive. A lot of questions around the quarterback. As last year's starter John Paddock hit the portal and Lane Hatcher from Texas State is transferring in. Hatcher put up decent numbers at Arkansas State before transferring to Texas State. Had a decent season with Texas State. My issue with him is good numbers, just doesn't win games. Puts up good stats, stash filler. They are losing their stud Carson Steele, who's transferring to UCLA, but they picked up in the portal Cooper from Kent State. Cooper was all conference last season, rushed for over 1,300 yards. Awesome replacement for Steele. Couldn't get a better one. Wide receiver, this group took a huge loss because their wide receiver 1 in Jason Jackson is gone, but they run a lot of 2 tight end sets. They had a pair of freshman tight end that were starting last season, and they are back. You can make the argument that they are arguably the best 2 in the country. I think Hatcher will lean on them underneath and not throw to this unproven wide receiver group. Offensive line, they're losing 2 starters this year, but they added transfers to fill them out. Career starts is only at 67, so it may take a couple games for this unit to gel. If they stay healthy, could progress as the season goes on. Defensive line, this unit, with the addition of Kyle King, last season was supposed to be good, but they battled injuries, could never get on the field as one cohesive unit. This year, the core of that unit is returning, and if they stay healthy, could be good. That's a big could, though. Not much depth behind the starters. Linebacker room. This will be the strength of the defense, could be the best in the MAC. They're getting everyone back, and that includes Caton Cole, who is their leading tackler, and Cole Pierce, who led them in sacks. DBs, if you were to Google the word nightmare, Ball State's back 4 would show up. They lost all 4 starters and 3 backups. A lot of inexperience in this DB room, and you're going to be able to throw all over them this year. Special teams, this unit was decent last year, but they're losing a lot. Both returners are gone. Their kicker from last season is gone, and their punter only averaged a 37.6 yard net average. This unit's going to cost them games. They lost their best offensive player in Steele, got a replacement with Cooper, and the back 4 and the special teams are a nightmare. They opened up with Kentucky and Georgia, but they have Indiana State and Georgia Southern. Best case scenario there, that's 2-2. I think they're going to lose to Georgia Southern, back-to-back road games to open up the MAC, host Toledo and CMU to go on their bye. They just got a brutal schedule, and you just kind of read it out loud. I would kind of lean to the under 4.5 at plus money.
I always want to lean towards it. So when I think Ball State, I think middle of the pack. It's a very similar way of the way that I think about like Miami of Ohio. I think like a middle of the pack team. They're always just kind of in the background, biding their time. This might be a bad middle of the pack year. Their out of conference is brutal.
Let me phrase it this way: if we don't against Kentucky in week 1, then they're a 5-win team. But I've got them at 4 here, and as an under.
Let's do it. So they start the season at Kentucky and at Georgia.
I can't tell if Uncle Rico thinks my hate of Kentucky is funny or obnoxious at this point.
It's both, but I love it.
I'm indifferent.
Okay.
Guess that spread, though.
Kentucky minus 22.5.
I'm going to say Kentucky by 17.5.
26.5.
You compliment me too much, and then my edge goes away.
I got them 0-2 to start. Indiana State and then Georgia Southern both at home.
So look, I think they're going to lose to Georgia Southern.
Are we back on the Georgia Southern train? No, it was Georgia State last year. It was Georgia State last year we were all high on.
Is it Clay Helton, Georgia Southern?
Yep.
Yeah, and we have to remember he was putting up decent numbers, and he had everyone that ran an option unit, and he changed it to a pro style. This is going to be the second year.
They're going to look good offensively.
They're going to look way better. I think Ball State's going to struggle in that game. I have them at 1-3 after 4.
They could maybe even beat Nebraska again.
If I'm being honest with myself, 1-3, my heart says 2-2.
I got them 1-3 at Western Michigan, at Eastern Michigan, back to back.
L and L.
1-1.
Yeah, I'm with Eric. I'm gonna go 1-1 here. Toledo at home, Central Michigan at home, 0-2 for me.
I give him the Toledo win.
I like Chase's angle that the second Toledo has expectations, that's when they're going to disappoint.
Yeah.
Because what is this? This is the fourth year in a row they have the best recruiting class in the conference?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to go 0-2 here for Ball State. And then off the bye week, it's at Bowling Green, at NIU.
I've got 2 L's.
Yep. 2 L's for me,
Yep,
too.
2
Because
L's
Bowling
for me.
Green's coming off a bye, too.
Yep, 2 L's for me as well. Kent State at home, Miami of Ohio at home to finish out the season. 1-1 for me.
I give him Kent State.
1, 2, 3.
I got him at 3 wins.
I've got him at 3 with an asterisk 4.
I'm going to bet the under.
It's still an under for me.
Plus
not
130?
One that. Yeah, for some reason, this one seemed dicey enough that I didn't want to touch it even at that price. I think even though I've got him at 3-4 max.
It could be just history talking because, like, even on their worst years recently, I feel like they've been getting to like 4 or 5 wins.
True.
But this is going to be one that I'm going to sweat out all season. I want that love. I want that juice. Give me Ball State under 4.5. I am already at 1, 2, 3. I'm already at 5 win totals, boys.
Jeez, dude. Jimbo, I'm at
Eric,
1.
you remember last year I rated the MAC for win totals last year. I went crazy.
Yeah. I'm a selective prick, dude.
I love that about you. That's why we work. Okay. Up next, it is, I'm going to call them our, just because they're all our Central Michigan Chippewas. Win total is set at 5.5. 5.5. It's minus 115 both ways. They are plus 2,500 to win the MAC.
Returning 68, 4 offensive starters, 9 defensive starters. Will be interesting to see who's starting the season. Richardson, who was their quarterback at the beginning of the season, he's transferred. They bring back Jason Barr and Burt Emanuel. Barrow had a 1-5 TD to interception ratio. That means for every 1 TD he threw, he was throwing 5 INTs. And Emmanuel can't throw the ball, but he's a very effective dual threat, very effective running the ball. So they really don't have a QB1 in my eyes, and that's really going to be a question mark entering the season. Sweet Lou Nichols left for the NFL. It looks like Kobe Lewis is going to be the starting running back. But Lewis transferred over the summer. So that means third string Myron Lucas is going to be RB1. No idea what he's going to be able to do because there's really not much film on him. Wide receiver room is going to be similar to the running back room. A lot of questions with the talent returning and the transfers brought in. Really an inexperienced group here. Don't know who's going to be the chain mover. Offensive line last year really struggled. They lost 2 players to the NFL, and your coach left to go to the NFL. So this unit took a huge step backwards. The numbers that Emmanuel put up toward the end of the season make this unit on paper look better than they actually are. If you just take out the Emmanuel game, you remember that snow game when he was just running all over the place? Take out those, this unit is absolutely putrid. Plus, they were replacing their all-conference center who's gone and their starting guard. Career starts are down. They lose 2 key pieces. I think this unit is going to take a big step backwards. Defensive line, they lost the best player in Thomas Incoom and their second best player in Laquan Johnson, but they're returning 3 starters. I think this unit is going to take a step backwards. Linebacker room, going to be the strength. They return everyone. Will need to be solid as there's a lot of questions with the defensive line. DB is returning 3 starters, but they did lose Robert Kent, who is a huge blow in my eyes. I think this unit was going to take a step backwards or just be similar to what they were last season. since their coach, whose name I'm spacing on, oh my God, the guy from Colorado State who lived next to Cowherd in the dorms has gotten there. Does the unit at CMU
It's
been
the shark fucker. It's McElwain, dude.
McElwain, yeah. They're losing their long snapper and their punter. I think this unit's going to take a step backwards. Look, this is the thing. He's one of the better coaches in the league, so you got to respect him. Okay, they were in a position to go to a bowl last year after losing 2 players on the offensive line to the NFL. But when you look at their schedule, Michigan State, Notre Dame, South Alabama, Buffalo, Ball State, Western Michigan, Ohio, all on the road. That's just brutal. I know they're returning a lot of players. They're due for some positive turnover aggression, but I think it's really going to be hard for them to get over 6 wins. So I'd lean to the under.
It's tough. It's tough for sure. I'm probably staying away from the win total just because minus 115 both ways doesn't excite me, doesn't get my juices flowing. I understand they are a directional Mich school, so I feel obligated to support them, but we got to be realistic on this show.
So here's what I kind of think is that I know that whenever I fill out my March Madness bracket, whoever I picked to win is a shoe-in to win it next year and not this year. I don't know. I think that Central Michigan without expectations heaped on them is dangerous. Agreed. I probably actually have them at the highest win total so far. I hang that on the defense, and I hang that on who I think might be actually probably if not the best top 2 coach in the MAC with McElwain. I think he fits in that small conference really well.
Not Coastal City either. No Sharks.
No Sharks. No Sharks.
Let's get into this brutal schedule. It's at Michigan to start the season. Michigan State. At Michigan State. At Michigan State.
Real quick. Chase and Jim. Guess that spread.
Michigan State minus 20.
Michigan State minus 7.5.
Split it 14.5.
Yeesh.
So I actually have Michigan State as a dub for Central Mich. I'm giving them 1-0 there.
Eric, if Michigan State loses to Central Michigan, I want to see the meltdown.
Well, here's the thing. Like, I like CMU. I grew up in Mount Pleasant, so it's like, no, it is. I mean, Michigan State isn't doing shit with Mel Tucker there. He has took this program 15 steps backwards. It is a complete clusterfuck. But if CMU had a quarterback, like hypothetically, let's say Richardson was still there, they could go in there and they can win this game. But you're going in there with a guy that had a QB, a TD to INT ratio of 1-5, or a quarterback that can't throw the ball. And you're going into Michigan, you know what I mean? Like, even though Michigan State is going to be starting a new guy at the quarterback, they lost their best wide receiver, and they have Mel Tucker. I mean, like, it's a lot. If CMU had a better quarterback, they could be able to pull this off, but I don't think they're going to be able to.
That's one of the top 10 coaches of 2021, Mel Tucker, for TU, Eric.
Yeah. Just number 1 chaperone of Kenneth Walker III.
Well, let's just rewind this. I don't know. Like, I'm going to go on a tangent here, and I'm sorry. I don't know if you remember, but when we had J-Dub on Spring Fever,
yes,
he talked about Kenneth Walker going to Michigan State. Okay.
Yep.
All that is accidental. It's not like Tucker found this diamond in a rough. It was purely coincidental. If Ken Lex not to go there, Mel Tucker's not there. He would have got canned because it was such a bad year, and Walker put him in that position to win. So
So do you put some of the blame on Kenneth Walker then?
Yeah, dude. I blame. Maybe I should DM him right now, Kenny. Why did you pick Michigan State, dude? It was
what's the deal, K9?
It was a good season. I appreciate you. You know what? But God damn it, dude. Now we're stuck with Mel Tucker.
I'm going to give Central Michigan a loss here at Michigan State. I'm going to give them a win at New Hampshire afterwards, though.
2-0.
New Hampshire's good.
True.
I have them at 1-1.
I also have 1-1. At Notre Dame, at South Alabama, 0-2.
1-1.
I like that, Chase. I like the moxie.
0-2.
Eastern Michigan at home, at Buffalo.
I'm going to say a gutsy 1-1.
I'm going to say drop off 0-2 there.
See, this is where I'm going to go 2-0. Akron at Ball State.
Akron. I'm going to say that. I'll tell you what, guys. That is, as crazy as it sounds, it kind of depends for me when the start time is for the Akron game. That's homecoming. If that game is at noon, there is no way they're winning that game. Those guys are going to be.
Do you want to know the start time, Eric? According to at least FBS schedules, don't know how much we trust them. 3:30 Eastern, so 2:30 Central.
All right, I'll give them a win there.
So between Eastern, Buffalo, Akron, and Ball State, I'm going to have them going 2-2.
Okay.
Then it's the bye week, and then it's NIU at Western Michigan at Ohio before ending with Toledo at home.
So I think they're going to lose to both NIU and Western Michigan.
I don't.
3-0. 3-0 in that stretch.
I mean, both NIU and Western are coming off the bye.
I'm going to give them 1-2 in that stretch between NIU, Western, and Ohio.
And you know what?
Toledo to end the season.
And you know what the biggest rivalry in the state of Michigan is behind Michigan State?
I'd say ahead. Is it Central Western?
Yeah. Those two hate each. I have an FK Zoo shirt somewhere in my place. I should have wore that.
I'm going to have them losing to Toledo to end the season.
Yeah.
So I have Central Michigan, our Chippewas at 1. I have them at 4 wins.
I'm kind of embarrassed about what I'm about to say.
I have them at 4.
You take yours, you double it, then you take half of your total and add that to the doubling. I've got them at 10 fucking wins, dude.
You have the Central Michigan Chippewas at 10 wins?
Yep. I went 10 wins for the Chips.
Chase,
I think this is your surprise in the MAC.
If this weren't the MAC and chaos didn't exist in the MAC, I would make this my big bet of the year versus you. I had Erik in the Kansas one last year. I gotta do one this year. It can't be this because I can't trust anything goes in the MAC. It's like street fights.
There's a ton of value there. There's value for the over at -110, a real meat and potatoes -110 for them to just get bowl eligible, which I think is easily doable. I mean, I'm for it. I'm all in. Like I take these spicy stands, but I hit when I take my spicy stands.
Nothing if not a show of strong opinions. God damn it, Chase! I respect you for standing by it. I really respect it. Eastern Michigan. If I'm being honest, in mine and Chase's love of the directional mish, this is my favorite directional mish. I love Eastern Michigan with all my heart. Win total is set at 6.5, -170 on the over, +140 on the under, +750 to win the conference. I am worried that Eastern Michigan is coming into the season with expectations. This worries me.
It should.
38 returning, 4 offensive, 7 defensive starters. Quarterback Tyler Powell is gone, but Austin Smith, who got reps to the freshman, is back. He was 3-1, threw for 744 yards before being out for the year with an injury. Dual threat quarterback. He could be in line. Like, we need to remember, like last year with Ohio, no one expected Rourke to be that good. Like, we were both on Ohio under last year, though.
I know, but his last name, I still expected great things out of him.
I'm just saying Powell could kind of be the breakout quarterback player. There's potential for him with what he brings to the table. Samson Evans, who rushed for 1,100 yards last season, and Jalen Jackson, who rushed for 398, are back. Good combo. Jackson is a change of speed guy and a home run hitter. Wide receiver on paper, I know people are going to say this unit is taking a step backwards with them losing for their top 5 pass catchers, but they return their best wide receiver in Elzat, who was gone last season after 1 game. Getting Swinton from Indiana and Lockett from MSU, I think this wide receiver group is going to be sneaky good. O-line, obviously the worry point for this offense. They only have 2 starters returning, 58 career starts. This unit, I think, is going to be bad, take a step backwards. Defensive line, another worry point for me here. They're losing Jose Ramirez, who was their best defender last year and the best defensive player in the MAC last season, along with their starting nose tackle. I think this unit is really going to struggle to create pressure and stop the run. Linebacker, this group will be counted to pick up the slack because of the limitations of the defensive line. Case Clean, who led the linebackers in tackles last season, is back along with 2 other starters. DBs, even though they're losing 5 key players and have 3 starters returning, I think this unit could be better. They have freshmen who are getting reps last season. They're going to be more experienced, and they're going to take that step forward. Special teams, one of the better units in the country. They finished the last season very highly rated. Their kicker, Jesus Gomez, went 14 for 17 last year, kicking the rock.
I'm really cool, by the way, of calling like people. Yeah, I like the Jesus move. I like that, by the way.
Overall, special teams will allow them to win close games. DBs will limit opposing teams' passing attacks. But at the end of the game, I just don't think this team is good enough in the trenches to make any noise in winning the conference.
That's fair. That's fair. Man, I've been taking Eastern Michigan overs for the longest time, but they've been at like 4.5 for the longest time. It's been a fun ride. I don't know if I could do it this year. The schedule lines up not terribly. Let's get right into it. Howard at home to start the season.
Call me crazy. I'm gonna give him the dub.
Eat that dub. They're gonna. It's a dub. At Minnesota.
I think it's a close game, but I give them the L.
Dub.
Whoa.
Eastern Michigan. Dub.
I like it when it's not just me doing ridiculous
dub,
shit.
Baby!
Whoa.
I'm so down on Minnesota this year.
Loss.
All
I'm
right.
so down on Minnesota this year. And obviously, Eastern Michigan. UMass at home. Dub.
I'll give him the dub. I am at 2 wins to start the season.
At Jacksonville State. Dub.
L.
That's 3.
I'm going with the L.
Dub.
I'm high on Jacksonville State and Rich Rod, so
I have Eastern Michigan going 4-0 to start the season. At Central
I've got
Michigan.
them 2-2. That's obviously an L for me.
Yeah, I have them losing to Central Michigan. Ball State and Kent State both at home after that.
2-0.
I got them at 1-1. So I am at 5 wins already. Then it's at NIU and Western at home to finish off before the bye week.
I give them the Western win. I do not give them the win against NIU.
I got them going 1-1 again there. This is where I get scared. Out of the bye week, it's at Toledo, Akron at home, at Buffalo.
1-2, Akron.
I got them 0-3.
I got them at 6 wins.
I got them at 6 wins as well.
6 wins.
Do I take a shot at under 6.5 for the plus 140?
I mean,
it comes down to how much you trust their defensive and offensive line.
it's a don't touch. The number's 6.5. I have them sitting at 6. It's a juiced up. I saw him at -6.5, -170 is what I pulled him off.
Yeah,
of,
that's
on
the
Bet
over's
Online.
-170.
Oh, the over's -170.
Yeah.
What's the under at?
Plus 140.
Plus 140.
That's what I'm seeing. That's what I saw.
Well, then I change my tune and I'm gonna play the under since I got him sitting at 6 and it's -140 and that actually becomes a bet now.
Chase, in solidarity with you, I will also be betting the Eastern Michigan under 140. Let me just confirm because another tangent, guys. Bet Online is where I got a lot of these lines, and fuck them for doing this. They love to have so they'll have over on top, under on bottom, but they'll switch it. They'll switch it depending on the team.
According to
Yeah, Chase, over is minus 170, under is plus 140.
Under is plus 140. Yeah, give me the under.
But
and I'll make that a play.
Just to sports books out there, can we just stop?
Dude,
over on
under,
top, under on bottom, leave it there.
So I'm looking on a website right now. You can play. DraftKings has it at 6.5. Other books have it at 7.5. So shop around depending on which way you want to play it.
What's the 7.5 under? What's that juice?
Minus 110.
Yeah, I like the plus money though, Eric. If I see a plus sign in front of a number, I'm a sucker.
So if you saw plus 150 on UMass over 2.5, you're going to take on principal?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, I want to see the whole schedule first, but if I think they're going to win 2 games, I was like, yeah, I'll take the over. Just on principle. I see plus numbers, I go stupid. 3 teams left, boys. Northern Illinois up next. The win total is at 6.5, plus 135 on the over, minus 165 on the under. They are plus 1,600 to win the MAC.
Returning 50, 8 offensive and 7 defensive starters. Former MSU, not dud, not stud, dud, Rocky Lombardi is back and projected to be the starter. He isn't flashy, but he puts them in a position to win the game, led them to the MAC championship a couple years ago. Running back room took a hit as 3 of their top 4 are gone. Also, Brown is back, who is their second leading rusher. Jordan Lynch's brother, Justin Lynch, is switching from quarterback to running back, and they added Gavin Williams from Iowa and Kendall Flowers from Wake Forest. Unit was good last year. Lynch switching positions, bringing the transfer. I think this unit's just going to be just as good as was last year. Wide receiver, we talk about all the time. You have to have a player that you can count to move the sticks. Last year, they really didn't have one with Rudolph being out for the season. Rudolph is back, and that will be the guy for NIU. They also have the field structure in Rusnick, which will create space underneath for Lombardi to throw the ball where he's more comfortable because he's really doesn't have that strong of an arm. They also bring in some transfers, namely Davis Patterson. I expect this group to take a huge step forward. Offensive line. Last year, the offensive line saw a decrease in 51 yards per game rushing, and that was due mainly to losing their all-conference center and left tackle Cox being out for the year. This season, everyone minus Cox is back. He didn't play last season, so it's really not much of a loss. They have 117 career starts. Could be one of the better offensive lines in the MAC. Defensive line, interesting group here as they lost third-team all-conference Michael Kennedy and Wisconsin transfer Green May. Plus, in the spring, Ivan Davis was lost for the season with an injury. All this unit depends on what the younger guys who played last year, their step forward and everything. Linebacker group took a huge blow in the spring game with Railer leaving via transfer. Now you're missing your top 3 guys from last year's team, only adding 3 players in the portal. I think group is going to struggle dramatically. DBs will be the strength, one of the better units in the conference. They added Cameron Dabby from Kansas and Darren Gilbert from Lafayette. Also, CJ Brown, who is all conference last season, is back. Solid unit. They're going to be due for some interception regression as they really didn't create many interceptions last year. Rudolph is back, which helps the return game greatly, but they did lose their kicker. And teams that lose their kicker, hard for me to trust. I'm expecting overall for this team to do for some positive turnover regression, as 2 years ago they got a ton. Last year it kind of evened out 2 years ago when they got a ton, one of the luckier teams in football. Last year kind of evened out, one of the unluckiest teams. I like this team. I think this team is going to win 7 to 8 games, but when I look at the over-under 6.5 and it's juiced to minus 150, this is a pass for me.
This is actually one of One of the definite plays that I had going into it was the over at plus 135 over 6.5 because I had them sitting right at 7. I love their head coach, Thomas Hammock, aka Bruce. If you get low with it, get loose with it. If you a skinny bitch, let Bruce hit it. I mean, he's a Northern Illinois guy in their Hall of Fame. I think they stumbled last year, but it's like Central Michigan. They stumbled last year, but they bring it back this year.
I'm just like NIU recently, basically since 2020, I've been good, bad. Now we're back to good. This is going to be a good year for NIU. They're on the up. They're on the fucking up. I'm leaning towards the over with Chase. I like that move. It's my play, but let's get into the schedule at Boston College to start the season.
They're live. They're really live.
I'm giving them a win.
Let me pull it up.
Actually giving them the win too.
Attaboy, Chase.
Oh, you know what? I'm looking at a legal shop, and I'm in Illinois, so I cannot pull up that line.
Oh, you can't bet any Illinois team?
I'll have to go offshore.
That's so stupid. That's so dumb.
Southern
Illinois, after that, the Salukis.
I'll give them a win.
I'm going to give them a win there. At Nebraska?
Giving them the win also.
I'm going to give them a loss.
Whoa.
Just
no respect.
What'd you say?
Just no respect, dude. No respect for.
I'm giving Nebraska the win. I'm giving the
Nebraska.
Oh, okay. I'm giving Nebraska the win. Yeah.
Okay. I have them 2-1 to start the season. Tulsa at home after that.
Oh, real quick. I found the spread. Guess the spread.
Boston College minus
against Boston College.
Boston College minus 6.5.
I'm gonna say Boston College minus 4.5.
So I'm sticking with 6.5.
11.
Yeah, I'm gonna take NIU in that spot.
Yeah, hammer it. I'll hammer it in that spot.
So after Nebraska, it's Tulsa at home and then at Toledo.
Actually going 0-2 there.
I got to go 1-1
back to back.
I really feel if they beat Nebraska, they're going to lose to Tulsa. But if they lose to Nebraska, they'll beat Tulsa.
Between Nebraska, Tulsa, Toledo, and then Akron, because Akron and Toledo are back to back, I'm going to have them going 2-2 in that spot. Then it's Ohio and Eastern Michigan, both at home before the bye week.
I give them the 2 wins there.
Yeah, I got them 2-0 there.
Yep, I agree.
Off the bye week at Central Michigan and then Ball State at home.
That's a win.
1-1.
I have them 2-0.
I'm going to go 1-1 in that spot. And then to finish the season, it's Western Michigan at home at Kent State, 2-0.
2-0.
2-0 for me, too.
Whew.
I've got them at 8. I've got them at 8 wins.
I got them at 7.
I got them at 7, too.
The over is a must play for me, though.
I'm going to take a shot on that over at plus 135, Chase.
Yep, I'm with you.
I'm going to take a shot on that. Okay.
But it's just right where I have them. You know what I mean? And I'm just going to pass.
You're a safe man, Erik.
I'm a safe man.
It's your favorite. It's the favorite to win the whole conference, boys. It's Toledo. Win total, the highest win total of the conference, 9.5. Plus 130 on the over, minus 160 on the under. They are plus 175 to win the MAC.
Returning 48, 8 offensive, 8 defensive starters. Dual threat quarterback DeQuan Flynn is back. He finished up last season. Second team all conference. If he misses time, Tucker Gleason is there, and he has shown he's a capable backup because Finn did miss some time last season. Running back, they were returning everyone from last season. Stewart was their number 1 rusher last year, and I expect him to be the starter this year. They also have Penny Boone, who I think is going to take a huge step forward. I'm going to be looking to play some of his rushing totals. Wide receivers, all their top guys are back. Unit has depth and talent. I think they'll outperform last year's unit. Offensive line, this unit struggled last season, but I think they'll take a huge step forward this season. I think the big reason for that was they lost Tyler Long for the season. Right before the season started last year, he returns this year. So basically, they have 4 starters coming back. They're adding 3 transfers from the Power 5 conferences. This unit is going to be good. Defensive line, this unit's going to be taking a little step backwards as they lost their 2 best players in Deshaun Johnson, who was first team all conference, and Jamal Haynes, who was second team all conference. I know they added Travion Ford from Missouri, but he got hurt and he's going to miss the start of the season. He'll be back by the time conference play starts, so I think he's going to be in a good line. Linebacker, this is one of the top units in the conference. They're returning Dallas Grant, who was their top tackler last year, and Bolden is back after missing last year due to an injury. 3 of their top 5 are back, plus you're getting Bolden back. Unit is good. DB is returning everyone, but a couple of backups. Could be the best secondary in the MAC. Big issue for them in special teams last year was their punter, Jonathan Bazak, was inconsistent. He had a 91-yard punt, but due to his shanks, because he's an Aussie-style kicker, only a 35.2-yard net average. With this being his second year, I expect him to take that big step forward. So I kind of like this unit as a whole. Overall, they are returning 7 all-conference players. Offense is better. They'll have one of the better defenses in the conference. I think that this team is going to come close to double-digit wins with how their schedule unfolds. And this team reminds me a lot of UCF did last year. I took their over 8.5 at -105, -110 when it first came out. I think they're live week 1 against Illinois with everything Illinois is losing. I like this Toledo team. I think they can make that New Year's Day 6 bowl.
Erik, one thing I'm going to say to you.
Yeah.
Toledo with expectations. This team is perennially, I can't pronounce that word ever, a letdown. They live to let their fans down the second they get expectations.
I live to win money, though. And I think this team is live. I think this team is going to be good. I think with what I look at, they're checking off all the
schedule's real nice. I'm not going to lie. The schedule's real nice. So at Illinois to start the season, they are. I think that's a win. I'm going to give them a loss.
So, overhyped Brett Ball?
Yeah, little. No. I think Illinois is like just, I don't know. Illinois is consistent. They're consistent in their weirdness. So I'm going to give Toledo the loss here at Illinois.
I mean, Toledo their defensive line could struggle to stop the run, I guess, at the beginning of the season. But with what they have in offense, this kind of reminds me of that UTSA when UTSA went into Champaign and won straight up.
Fair.
What's more underwhelming, Illinois with expectations or Toledo with expectations? I say Illinois with expectations. I actually gave Toledo the dub against Illinois there.
I'm going to say Illinois gets it. Give me the loss for Toledo. Texas Southern and San Jose State both at home. Those are 2 wins.
I think those are 2 wins.
Dubs and dubs. Yeah.
So I got them 2-1. You guys have them at 3-0. Western Michigan and NIU both at home.
I have my wins.
I think they split those somehow.
I think they go 2-0 here.
I think they go 2-0.
I got them at 4. Erik's got them at 5. Chase has them at 4 as well right now. At UMass, at Ball State, at Miami. 2-1.
1-2.
That's the tough part of the schedule. If they were gonna have a hiccup, in my eyes, that's when it's gonna happen.
I'm gonna give them 2-1 in that stretch.
I give them the win on the road at UMass. Then they drop 2 straight on the road afterwards.
I don't hate that. It's probably the most likely outcome of that.
Mm-hmm.
Bye week, and then it's Buffalo at home, Eastern at home.
I think they would go 3-0 after that game at Miami.
So you think they go 3-0 against Buffalo, Eastern, and then at Bowling Green?
Yeah.
And then at Central to finish off the season.
And then
I've got them winning those 3 in a row and then losing Central in the finale.
So out of all these games here, the last 4 stretch, I'm going to give them 3 wins. I have them losing 1. It's either Bowling Green or Central Mich. Weird stuff happens on a Tuesday in November.
Yeah. It's right at 8 and at 9.5, under at -160. That's another one that I don't really touch. Like I have no faith in a MAC team with expectations of any type. Like I want the most under the radar MAC teams always.
Week 1 at Illinois. Guess that spread.
What's the total?
40, anywhere from 49.5 to 48.5, depending.
Give me that under. Give me the under first off.
I'm going to say
-11.
I'm going to say Illinois -21.
We have a winner in the house. Toledo +11.
I got one. I got one of them.
Good call. You complimented me, and then I just fucking fell apart, man.
I got one. I'm taking that under, just so everyone's aware. I will take that all day. Erik, I guess we'll get to the conference, but at +175, no one's touching that, right?
No, I got the 8.5. I'm just gonna play the 8.5 over.
Yeah, if I would have got an 8.5, maybe I would have played over, but at 9.5, no.
But like I said, I think this reminds me of UCF. We got on the UCF train early before a lot of the other people did. That got juiced up from the 8.5 to the 9.5, and
Erik, you're moving numbers.
Yeah, I have my moments, Jim.
Last team, it is the Western Michigan Mustangs. Win total is set at 3.5. Juice to -150 for the over, +120 on the under. They are +4,000 to win the MAC this year.
Are they not the Broncos?
They are the Broncos.
I don't give a fuck. They're the Mustangs to me.
Returning 36, 8 offensive, 2 defensive starters. Last year, they struggled to replace Caleb Elgerby. Fun fact, Jim. He is the first Western Michigan quarterback to be selected in any draft. And that was in the
USFL.
XFL.
That was the XFL. That's right. You got it in the XFL
draft. Everyone from last year is gone, which was a disaster. They're adding Hayden Wolf from ODU, who's going to be the starter. Don't really expect that much from him. Running back room, this will be taking a huge step backwards as they're losing their top 2 and returning a bunch of underclassmen. They got Keyshawn King from Vaught Tech, who will be the starting running back. This room is going to be worse compared to what they've had in years past. Wide receiver, this group is returning 4 of their top 5. But again, who's the chain mover? Who's Wolf going to target on 3rd and long? In my eyes, this team just has a bunch of guys that are wide receiver 2, 3 type of guys. With how bad the offensive line was last year, it won't take much for them to improve this year. Last year, they allowed a whopping 42 sacks. They're adding 3 transfers that will start right away. Career starts is up to 81. I expect this group to be a lot better than last year's. Defensive line, they're losing Andre Carter, who is a small conference, will be a hard loss, but Marshawn Keelan entered the portal, and he decided to come back to Kalamazoo, which is huge for them. They're adding 3 JUCO transfers, and their head coach has been hyping this group. But in my eyes, they're inexperienced, and they are going to struggle. Linebackers, to say this unit is inexperienced is an understatement. Guess how many combined tackles this group has?
5.
14.
15.
38.
We went way too low, Chase.
We were way wrong on that.
38 combined tackles. DB is this unit with the weakness of the front 7. They'll have their hands full. Now let's factor in they lose 3 of their top 4. They did add Tate Halkick from Michigan State. This unit, I feel, is going to get exposed because the front 7 isn't going to be able to create pressure. Special teams, they lost their punter who is decent, so they're not going to be able to flip the field as much as they did last year. Lance Taylor is taking over for Tim Lustard, who was fired after his first losing season. they've been the best team in the conference, one of the most consistent teams of the conference, had one bad year, and the coaches can. You can say what you want about coaches leaving, but this is why coaches are leaving, because there's no accountability, no loyalty in college football. Taylor, former OC at Louisville and Notre Dame, I think he's going to have his hands full with the lack of talent on this team. I think it's going to be a long season in Kalamazoo, and I would lean toward the under if I were to take a bet.
I'm with you on the under. That's also actually never mind. I had him at it's 3.5. I had him sitting at 5, but it's still one that I don't want to touch in the slightest. This is
Especially
my
with
lowest
that
win
juice.
total. Yeah, this is one of the lowest win totals I have that I've been projecting for any of the Western Mich schools.
Schedule isn't terrible, but it's not great.
It's pretty.
It's not
pretty
great.
tough.
It's not
Yeah.
great. St. Francis start the season.
Well, that's a win.
That's a dub.
There you go. There you go, Western Michigan at Syracuse, at Iowa, at Toledo.
Loss.
Yeah.
0-3.
Yep. Ball State at home, and then at Mississippi State. Sorry, I didn't even see Mississippi State in there. I recant what I said.
I give them their second win of the year at Ball State, loss at Mississippi State.
Oh, God.
I'm going to give them 2 losses.
I'm going to give them 2.
Miami of Ohio at Ohio, and then at Eastern Michigan.
Hey,
I'm going to give them 2-1 there. I'm going to say they beat Miami of Ohio and
When's
Ohio.
that start?
That starts at which one?
Miami. That's homecoming weekend.
3:30.
All right, that's good. If it's at noon, dude, Kalamazoo is a great town to party at.
It's at 3:30. I'm going to give them
I'll give them a homecoming win.
I'll give them 1 and 2 in that Miami of Ohio, at Eastern Michigan stretch. 1 win.
I agree.
Bye week, and then it's Central Michigan off the bye.
I really think that both these teams aren't going to be what we're accustomed to seeing these teams used to in the past. I think Western Michigan is going to be home. This is going to be the game they're pumped up the most because of how disappointing the season is. I'll give them the win.
So between Central Mich at NIU and Bowling Green, I'm going to be generous and give them 1 win.
That's 1 win for me.
Where are you sitting, Chase, off the bye week?
I give him the 1 win with Bowling Green.
So I'm sitting right now. 1, 2. I got 3 wins.
Oh, my God. I got 3 wins too, Jimbo.
Where are you at, Chase?
I am at 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm at 5.
Damn, Chase. Damn.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that they get a few of those. I don't think that their non-conference schedule does them any favors outside of St. Francis, but I think that there's a lot of attrition. I think you're going to see a lot of 6-7 win teams that lost 3 or 4 non-conference games and they sneak out a couple of wins during the season and just MAC play.
And the big thing for them, and we see it with these first-year coaches, can they control the room? Is he going to go in there? Is he going to get respect? Are these guys going to listen to him? Are these guys just going to check him out? Yeah, whatever, dude.
I'm going to take a shot. I'm going to take a shot on the under, plus 120. I'm going to take a shot.
I would lean toward the under too.
I'm taking a shot. I'm doing it.
I went with the over, but it's a don't touch.
It's too juiced. It's way too juiced.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll go in a circle. Erik, do you like anyone for the conference?
I think it's Toledo. I think Toledo could be that team that's going to sneak into a Group of 5 bowl. Would
you take a chance on any other team?
If I were to take
a long shot odds,
NIU would be the team.
Okay, NIU at plus 1,600.
Yes.
Chase, how many conference futures are we playing?
I'm going to let you help me make up my mind on this one because I'm teetering on 2.
I got 2.
I'm teetering on 2. There's one definite. It's going to be at huge odds. Central Michigan, 25-1 to win the conference. If I dabble in a second, which I just might do, it's going to be NIU, 1,600.
So we got two for NIU, 1 for Central Miss right now. My 2 are neither of those ones. I'm taking a shot on Akron at 28-1, plus 2,800. And I'm taking a shot that they stay healthy and they beat the margin. I'm going to get Miami of Ohio at plus 650. I'm going to I'm a sprinkle.
Ooh, Jimbo.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jimbo.
So we'll go in a circle one more time. Erik, what win totals are you playing for the MAC? Which ones are you playing?
I personally bet Akron over 3.5 and Toledo over 8.5.
That was easy. Chase, what win totals are you playing in the MAC?
Going to go Miami of Ohio under 7. I'm going to go Ohio under 7. I'm going to go Eastern Mich under 6.5. And I'm going to go Northern Illinois over 6.5.
I like it. Here's what I'm playing. Akron over 3.5. Buffalo over 6.5. Kent State under 2.5. Ohio under 7. Ball State under 4.5. Eastern Michigan under 6.5. Northern Illinois over 6.5. And Western Michigan under 3.5. I am playing more than half the conference win totals in the MAC. Yet again, I didn't think I was going to go crazy, Erik, but I did.
Dude, I have no idea how you do it, man.
I'm playing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I am playing 8 win totals in the MAC this year. Let's ride this crazy train out. I'm going to be sweating these out in November. It's going to be.
But you can hedge. You can hedge. Like hypothetically, like let's say it gets
never
down
hedge.
Erik, do you know who you're talking to? I don't hedge.
I know someone I'm trying to help. Someone I'm trying to teach my ways to.
I don't hedge. I don't hedge, Erik. I'm not about that life. All right, boys. This has been a hell of a show. This is the MAC, the most competitive conference in college football. Do you guys have anything you want to shout out before we dip out?
Let's go Maulers.
Let's definitely go Maulers.
Let's go Maulers, 12-1.
Also, check out my horse racing pod, the Notorious OTB, on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. I happen to have this big galoot, our host. He was on today.
Oh,
it's a freshie out there.
Look at you, dude.
Yeah, y'all know where to find me. Y'all know where to find Erik at eTough21 Sports, Chase at Oakland, me at XFL Gym. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for listening. We greatly appreciate it. Let's win some money in the MAC this year.